What's up guys, and welcome to another episode here on Trilogy. So today we're going to go over a little bit of making your dungeon give it more of that dynamic feel. So a lot of the time when you buy a lot of these sets, a lot of the corners and a lot of the straights and stuff, they're kind of hard to fit completely into your build. I have a few tips and tricks that I use, and I'm sure other DMs have a few hints and tricks that they use. And today I'm just going to go over a few of mine and hopefully give you a chance to give your dungeon more of that dynamic feel rather than just giving you them square rooms. So let's dive right in and set the scene. Okay, so here we have pretty much your standard 3x3 room from Dwarven Forge. Pretty much gives you around 20 feet of movement space on the inside for your guys, and then obviously the little outer squares that you have. Now this you could pretty much make easily out of any of the starter sets from Dwarven Forge. You could probably even make 2 more rooms added onto these, and you know, these really do get the job done. I mentioned before in a previous video that a lot of the Dwarven Forge sets coming from the Dungeon of Doom have a lot of these vaulted corners. I really do like the vaulted corners, but they do give you a little bit less room when you're trying to set things on the inside. And the only way I found to get the standard corners is to buy pretty much anytime I get a chance another starter set, which gives you, I believe, 12 of these walls, which basically in theory gives you an extra 3 rooms. Because I really do just like the straight walls as well as going with the vaulted. I mean, there is nothing wrong with the vaulted sets. Like I say, there's a lot of the times that I'm trying to get stuff into the corners, and having these extra pillars on the side, it just kind of is a little bit irritating, a little bit frustrating. But yeah, so this is your standard 3x3 Dwarven Forge room, along with a door. And we're just going to go through today and see kind of what we can do to kind of mix this up and give it more of a dynamic feel. Usually when I play, I'm sure a lot of you do as well, I go ahead and I put a piece of black card over the room, and then when they get to the room, I open the door, I take off the card and reveal what's the contents inside, and then we kind of go from there. Okay, so right out the gate, if you bought any of the other packs of Dwarven Forge, you'll notice you'll get some corner pieces, and there's even some that'll give you some curved pieces. So even just taking away one of our square pieces right out the rip, we could go ahead and take our nice curved wall, okay, and slot it right in, and already giving our room some shape. Now imagine if you're going to be anticipating a lot of combat in here, and you know, you want to try and get a few people in here. Maybe we could expand the room out. So we could just go ahead and take a couple out. We'll take a few of our floor pieces. And we'll put our extra wall in. And maybe this piece will just be an alcove. Maybe we won't even take this piece out right here, and we'll add another corner in. And now we have a little alcove. Maybe take another door, one of our skinny doors, which is actually a little bit smaller than our regular doors for your tight corners. And now we just have a little cupboard over the back here. Okay. Now I recently did just purchase this alcove pack, which I'm very excited to use into my next build. And they come lighted. Has the little switch on the back right here to turn them on. And these just detach, so this is how they look without the light. And we can just go ahead, switch this on, and there we go. So already we've taken our pretty bland square room and we've already given it some shape. We could even set the scene and give it some furniture. So we'll take ahead a couple of our Reaper of Bones minis, which I did an unboxing for. Make sure you go ahead and check that out. Now we have a couple of bookcases. Maybe go ahead, add ourselves a mage table. And now we kind of got some kind of little arcane alcove going on right here. Maybe we even add a couple of our miniatures. Maybe there's a couple of orcs guarded in here. And when my adventurers come in, I am good to go. Now, I've been thinking about doing something with these little alcoves. If you set up a room, I was thinking adjacent to this room, maybe one of your adventurers hit a trapdoor, and it would be just as easy for you to kind of pinch together and turn around. And not only, you know, have you split your party up, which is always fun because a lot of them try and stick together a lot of the time, kind of gives them a new area to go to, trying to get back to each other. You know, what encounters are they going to come across? Are you just going to let them go through with them? I mean, the possibilities of what you can do right here are pretty endless. So now that we've got our little arcane lab going, how much more can we possibly do to make this look good? Well, let's see. So maybe if we take out this wall right here, we're going to use a part of the Dwarven Forge Ruins set. That's another nice cheap set to get, and it really will give your dungeon some dynamic. And there we have it. So now I have a ruined wall on the outside. It gives the room a bit more of a textured feel. I can maybe go ahead and remove this and add a ruined floor. So part of the same set, I can take off this little piece right here, and maybe that's where the wall crumbled down into. We can even take some books, because it's an arcane alcove, and maybe stack these books up. Maybe remove this piece right here, and because we have the ruins set on, we'll go ahead and put a wall in, and then we'll take one of our ruined corners, and there we have it. So again, we've kind of took our little room, gave it some more depth, maybe some more story. You know, what caused the ruin to crumble like this? How long has it been here? Who could possibly even be inside? Maybe it's not an arcane little alcove. Maybe this alcove is just full of treasure. Maybe it was an old gold room, and your adventurers are about to come and stumble through and find a nice pile of gold. Again, maybe even not that. Maybe it was a storeroom, and maybe there was no ruined pieces of the wall, and it just looked normal. And this was a pantry, and you've got barrels of beer and food and grog, kind of waiting for your adventurers to come raid. Maybe this will be a good area for you to put your rats in. Maybe, you know, rats come out of the crawling part of the floor right here where it went in, and there was a recessed hole that they kind of crumbled and buried themselves into, and when the adventurers come in and disturb it, they come burying themselves out, and now there's a little engagement of rats there. Now, if we wanted to go out into the corridor, a lot of the times I usually use myself. I go ahead and I just use the straight wall pieces, and you've got your corridor going along with your door. However, if you're anticipating any form of combat in here, it can be quite frustrating for your players to only be having fight one at a time in terms of the space that you have there. So to get around that, maybe if you had a room adjacent to this, you could go ahead, let's put this back so you can see, and put down a floor piece first, and then your adjacent room's wall would be here, giving you that nice 2x2 so your minis can fit in and fight at the same time. Now you can get around the little piece on the side right here, your little half square. I don't allow travel into this in my games unless they are a halfling or a gnome, and sometimes on special occasions I'll even let a dwarf go in. So maybe if you have little people working with you, little skeletons, little players, I do allow them to squeeze by on said square, even if the adjacent square is occupied by a bigger player. Again, that's entirely up to you as a DM. maybe go over it with a DM first if you are planning on playing a gnome, and see kind of how much he's going to let you go. So yeah, maybe if we go ahead now and we set into our next corridor. So let's just go ahead straight away and start with a nice corner. Go ahead and replace this. And just down the corridor here, it leads to an adjacent room. We'll go ahead and put our ruined corner back in. That nice curved corner. Maybe one of our new alcoves, followed by our floor. Or we'll take another floor. And then we can finish it off with a couple more corners. So rather than giving us an extra room, we basically came down to kind of like a dead end. Now, I'm not sure how I'm going to handle the ruin parts inside my games. I'm not sure if I'm going to have something on the opposite side. Can my players see through it? Can they finish off knocking down the wall to get through into the adjacent room, or do I just leave it as negative space? I'm not too sure exactly what I'm going to do with this yet. If you guys have already used these ruin pieces and you have some good ideas how to incorporate these into your build naturally, please let me know down in the comments. You know, it does help me out. It just says I hope this video helps you out. And yeah, let's continue setting our scene and see where we go. So maybe if we take this corner wall out right here, we could go ahead and rather than adding a regular door, we can go ahead and add our corner door. So you can get these in some of the sets from Dwarven Forge. They really are handy. They give you this nice little door which opens both ways, and without sacrificing your corner, it also gives you your corner as well. And now I am ready to head off into the next area of my dungeon. And maybe up here where the alcove, is, we can maybe go ahead and take that out, and maybe there was a secret door right here. So we have a flat piece of wall. One of your adventurers walks in, looks for some secret tunnels, where I do have a Dwarven Forge piece, I don't have it to hand, and it will give you the little trap door, and maybe that leads to a narrower corridor. So we can take one of our little 1x1 corridors and give them just a nice little narrow corridor leading to somewhere else. Maybe it wasn't even a trapdoor, maybe it was hid behind this bookshelf. Kind of your possibilities right here, even if you're just getting started, are kind of endless to what you can do. So keep having to play around with your Dwarven Forge, and I would be excited to see the kind of builds that other people come up with. I do watch a lot of the YouTube videos myself, as well as doing these like kind of little videos. I'm going to start trying to do these like little build videos every week, so please stay tuned for that. On a Wednesday I'm going to do more of a miniature based video, so we'll go over a lot of the miniatures I have. I'm probably sitting on around 2,000-3,000 miniatures right now, and I do like unboxing and showing off the miniatures just as much as using the Dwarven Forge, and it would be kind of cool to see what other people build. So yeah, let me know what you think of the set here, guys. If there's anything else you have questions with, kind of the sets that I'm using, please let me know in the comments, and I will literally put the link to the items from Dwarven Forge down in the bio. Like I said before, I do prefer to buy directly off Dwarven Forge. It does help them out. They are a small company, and sometimes going on the aftermarket, a lot of the people kind of try and upsell their items. They kind of buy them out of stock just to try and get that extra bit of money out. I don't actually agree with doing that. I mean, each to their own, but I would much prefer to keep supporting the company and Stefan and his team, because they do amazing work. I mean, their work really does speak for itself, especially when you're trying to set these scenes out. So yeah, please let me know down in the comments, guys, which piece of this kind of build is your favorite. If you have any questions on the little items I'm using, the miniatures that I'm using, please let me know, and I will give you the links to the sets. And yeah, I will see you next time here on Trilogy, guys, and I hope you enjoyed the build. Please make sure to like and subscribe. It really does help us out. Thanks, guys. Have a great week.